everyone. I'm here with two colleagues of mine, Michael Kindregan and Freya Sherlock, who was on a previous episode, number 17. And Michael, I think you were on 19. So here you go again. So we're down in West Cork. We're here with Freya in her healing centre in, how do I pronounce the area? Malabraca.
West Cork.
West Cork. So we have been learning somewhat elements of what's called moxibustion or moxa, cupping, some tui-na, the physical therapy of China. And we're here to talk about life in general and trying
just a small subject,
just trying to move into that space of helping people in the community with their health, or, you know, in a way that is more organic and is approachable and less perhaps stuffy and clinical. So
more real.
Last time we were with Freya, we were talking about your journey. And we talked about before that Michael's journey into it. So maybe if you want to share what's been, I know we've been doing a lot of intensive stuff this weekend, but are there any takeaways for you this weekend aside from cupping and moxa? Are there any ideas or thoughts coming into the future of healthcare for us here in Ireland or Europe?
Well, the first thing from the training is definitely just keep the protocol simple.
Okay.
For people. That's what the main thing I took away is not to overcomplicate things. Then when we're looking at overall health, I suppose, again, the same principle applies as keeping it all simple, going back to basics.
Right. Okay. And what do you think in terms of healthcare in Ireland at the moment? You know, I mean, you know, aside from politics.
I think people are looking for help. You know, people need to find more different. I think we need to collaborate more. I don't think there's enough collaboration in the country in all the fields of healthcare, from physiotherapists to doctors, the traditional Chinese medicine. All practitioners need to start communicating better and working together better. Like, we all want the same goal for our clients. And I think that's what's really missing is the collaboration and the community.
I think this is the first time I've done a collaboration in a long time, because it's been missing for that long.
It is. It's terribly badly needed. Like practitioners shouldn't be in competition with one another. No. You should be able to. You should know your local practitioners and be able to call them for advice and talk to one another about your clients. Because we all, at the end of the day, we all want the same goal: is to help people get better from whatever, or just avoid getting sick. Longevity.
Freya?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's one of the things I've been really enjoying about what we've been doing here is building that sense of community among practitioners, and for that community to then grow with all the ideas that we've got bubbling around, taking the clinic out into the community in a way that's accessible, that's but that sort of, you know, Chinese medicine collaborations, which is something we talked about previously, is literally about that. It's about taking the competitiveness out of it and realizing that, you know, together we're stronger. And, you know, none are saved until all are saved. So, you know, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And, you know, the pooling of skills and resources when you come together is just fantastic. And the support and the you know, just the way that you grow your skill set exponentially and you grow your reach exponentially, and that benefits everyone. More patients get helped, you know, that builds the reputation for Chinese medicine and what it's capable of. But to answer your original question, I think in terms of what's bubbling up around healthcare, for me, what I'm seeing is, especially on the back of COVID, is, I suppose, a growing awareness that there's more to being a human than meets the eye.
Right.
And people are hungry or getting hungrier for an approach to their healthcare that isn't just about meeting their symptoms, no matter how holistically, even if they go to, holistic practitioners. It's, people, I think they're feeling that there's more to being human, and they want to be met in a deeper, more profound way. And people are more interested in the subtler dimension and the subtler realms, in terms of, they're more into, I've got some just very Joe Blogs off the street kind of patients, and, they'd be living corporate lives, but they come into the clinic and they're fascinated. How is it that you can put a needle there and my pain over there goes away? Or, they're genuinely more interested.
Yeah. I think some of the corporate clients I've had have been more spiritual than the spiritual clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a void.
There is a void. There is a void. And then the other thing is that people are wanting to feel more empowered. It's like the sense that, just like that, we had our power taken away from us, and, or seemingly it's felt like it anyway. And people are, what I'm noticing is that people are wanting to feel that there's more they can do for themselves, or there's more that can be done, whether it's just hedgerow medicine or homegrown medicine, or learning, self-care practices that really make a difference, or better, deeper understanding into how the body works in a holistic perspective, or, there's just seems to be just a bit more of an awareness and a bit more of a hunger to understand health in a more profound way, and medicine in a more profound way.
I mean, I don't know, what's this, my fourth time here to your place, and this is now beginning to see the power of the nature here, and how wilder and free it is, and unrestricted it is, and a lot more connection in the place. I mean, I've been hiding away for some years, like still teaching, but not really showing anything so much anymore for whatever reasons. But the potential here is huge for it to grow. You have your family home, you have your outbuildings, you have the potential for a community wellness, or even a place to stop off and be, residentially be fixed and helped and healed. So part of my question would be to the people listening or watching is, what would it take to raise the funding to get where we need to go in Westcourt? What would it take to raise the money and the funding to get where we need to go in Kildare? For me in Dublin, I'm firefighting. It's a different scenario because people are so busy, but nobody's really going to run a retreat in Dublin 15. Let's be realistic. So what does it take to have that, and I don't think it's about let's work harder and have loads more clients to pay for it. It's like getting support to do it. And I remember years ago, and this is just an idea I'm throwing out in the podcast, and it's not related to anything to what we're doing, but I do remember I had an idea to do a residential go to Guatemala and bring like 5 to 10 therapists there, and we needle. The idea was we got funding, like a GoFundMe or whatever it is type thing. And for every client that funded that project for the flights, the food, the money, those clients got their treatments free for the equivalent amount, plus friends and family added in. So it was like they got double the treatment. So if their treatment was 70 euros per treatment, effectively they're getting the treatment for 35, where they can now afford double the treatment. So as a return, we come back with new skills. So there are multiple ways to get this going, because I don't think we can rely solely on council funding or government funding. I think, as we see, their money is very much planted in the corporate sector, in the corporate scratch my back sort of thing. I know there is funding there. You talked about it. There are projects around it. So anyone listening, if you have ideas in that realm, please reach out to us, because I do think we have a health crisis. And I'm not just talking HSE.
No. It's deeper.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
Land.
yeah. Like it's again coming back, we need a community of practitioners, and it's just it's a place for everyone in it. Like the thing when you're working with loads of different practitioners, you're constantly learning from others, learning from different skills. Your confidence develops. The buzz,
it's been so much fun.
Yeah, like on your own, it's tough.
Imagine like the training you did at like some colleges are good, like real fun, but you come and you go. But like here, we've spent the weekend chatting, eating on each other's table, making friends, having a laugh. I'm a terrible joker and I'm mischief maker, but it's just like, why come and do something when you're not going to enjoy it? Never know. I might even get Jonathan Shubs to smile. Jonathan. So,
and even like a lot of practitioners are part-time in this field.
Yes, I think that's an important thing. And I think we've all discussed, like, if you look at the colleges you trained at, how many of your colleagues are actually like full-time? And when I see full-time, I'm talking, 30 to 40 hours a week doing this.
Yeah.
I think I can't even comment on some of the colleges I'm at. I do know probably less than 4 in some years have made it out of a 20 class. That's pretty poor. And what do you think that is? Cost of living, fear of going into business?
I think there's also a real void in terms of post-grad support. So, it's one thing to go through your training and then you got your cert and your insurance and you're supposed to head off out, but then the real work starts. And you start seeing patients and you start encountering situations that you're not so confident about. And there isn't a sort of a practitioner mentorship where, you've got your wings and you're flying, but you still need mentoring and you still need to be able to discuss cases or to keep your skills alive and keep your your passion alive. And also, there's so much to running your first practices or the business side of things, and no one's good at everything. But if you had real proper graduate mentorship, and that's what I think is wonderful about the potential for training community, because you have the new students who are then around the older students and who are around the teachers, and everyone's benefiting. It's like a symbiotic community. And then you're getting outreach. You're creating a clinical context where the community can come in, they can get low-cost treatment, but all the students, no matter what stage they're at, are refining their skill set to the level that they need, whether it's more about leading the way with the diagnostic treatment process or process, or whether it's more about, following the way of a diagnostic and treatment process. But either way, that graduate mentorship is a real gap.
Yeah.
The apprenticeship kind of model. Like.
I mean, that was my model for quite some time, and it's hard to do it on your own. It's quite draining. I think I'm going to say probably 20 apprentices that have done at least 3 to 4 years with me. And they're scattered all over the country at different levels. And I'm done with it. So it has to, it's you can be an apprentice, but they don't always have to be on top of you all the time. Like one of the takeaways for me this weekend was realizing the gaps for the lay people. And that's why I did the apprenticeship, is because they could come from lay with no knowledge and build it in. So I've learned that where the gaps are in my teaching this weekend. So it's been an invaluable kick in the butt for me too. Very humbling. So, but we'll get there. And for sure, I can say that's why I can stand there and talk about the mistakes I've made, and because I didn't have the support. I had to make the support system. No,
wasn't there?
No.
But what I'd be interested in finding out from anyone watching this, whether they're a student or a practitioner or more of a teacher or whatever capacity, is what do you need? What would you like to see created? What kind of a thing would you want to go to, whether it's a retreat or a training camp, training intensives?
Yeah.
Whether you want to feel part of a band of barefoot doctors that meet up and go out to the community or around the world, or, you know, like what would be,
what's your purpose, or
what's your passion, what's your purpose, what do you need?
That was what was great about this again, is the practicality of it.
Yeah,
we're so practical.
Yeah, I mean, you're a bit in the deep end, so you are playing catch up, but because you have the head for it, you know. So some people sink or swim, but because of your previous experience, it's not an issue for you, you know. You know, I've got a guy at the moment who's an accountant who hates his job, and he so desperately wants to do something like this and be in the countryside and grow veg and be the barefoot doctor, and it will happen for him eventually. Poverty consciousness is a big issue for us all. Like, we have a certain amount we need to live by and work with. And
I think a lot of practitioners have a scarcity mindset too. It is definitely an issue, and not just in holistic views, in the medical system as well, like the doctors and that. You know, it's you get into it to help.
Exactly.
When the financial side comes, it's an awkward moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think in a sense, because of that Cartesian split between spirit and matter, and a lot of practitioners are drawn towards Chinese medicine because they are more spiritually orientated. But then there's the materialist side, and actually what we need to do is to bring spirituality and materialism together and infuse the two, so that, you know, there is that you know, spiritual life force within the practice of earning your living, right livelihood. You know, it's that whole ethos of right livelihood. It's not, you know, because I think a lot of practitioners kind of don't want to look at the money side of things because they're in it for the vocation. But actually, if you've got right livelihood, and here am I to talk, I'm still working on it, but, you know, I think then you can give so much more. You've got so much more time and space and bandwidth in which to create even more amazing opportunities in order to reach more people and benefit more people. And it becomes a benevolent cycle. But, you know, we can't be excluded from the process of being nourished.
Yeah.
And it also comes down to the system that works. It's a business model, like how
a healing temple. That's the way we have to go, because the business corporate model won't support us. Maybe it's a case of creating our own religion. Sorry, no, but who was it said that if you want to make money, have a bank or a religion, you know? But for us, it's the money needs to be a tool to serve, rather than, you know, sipping cocktails on a beach and, you know, all the time, and driving a Porsche or a Ferrari, whatever it is, which would be nice, but it's just a fleeting experience and doesn't, you know, necessarily serve.
I don't think you get Freya's driver.
No, it's not going to happen. I need to get myself a Defender, an old Defender. But so the question there is, as a practitioner, do you want to be the suited and booted, you know, 20 people an hour, multi-bed clinic, €1 million a year turnover sort of, and, you know, whatever, that works. We have friends who do that in the US, and each to their own. And that doesn't mean that they don't contribute, and they're probably quite philanthropical, whatever that word is. But who wants to embed themselves in the community and have a very organic process of safety and comfort and knowledge and sharing of knowledge. And I mean, you've run a school, right? You've run a school for children that were allowed to express themselves and not be tied down by the 100 years of industrial thing. And is there a way we could build a model around learning that uses those approaches applied to adults rather than children?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And even just the financial side of that school was really quite something. It was a community run school.
Right.
And we regularly held incredible fundraisers. Each fundraising event was amazing.
Yeah.
We'd put on the Easter festival, for instance, and we would have all sorts going on over a weekend period. And, everyone pulled together, but then parents also contributed their fees for their kids because it was literally a community funded school. But it was everyone was dedicated.
Yeah.
Every parent gave with a heart and a half to keep the school alive and going for 10 years.
Imagine if you had a school of 16-year-old apprentices who just didn't want to go to university.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go study to the highest level they could, complementary medicine, Western medicine, Chinese medicine, whatever it is, and then go off in their 20s and serve the community of elderly young people. And they do their internships in areas where we have less poverty. What would that take? These are ideas. I'm not saying we do it. This is just putting it out there to see what would that vision look like. What would it look like if you could take people who, like I have one student who is an extremely talented musician, is a natural healer, came from a relatively famous Irish family, and not one single written qualification to his name left school. And I remember, if you're watching this, you know who you are. And he cried when he received his first tui-na cert, because it's the only qualification he's ever owned. And he went on to do, with his partner, and they traveled the world. They went to India and worked in Kerala and in Ayurvedic medicine, and in Poland and Spain, I think, and France. And so they just dedicated themselves to that. And now I think they've done full circle, and they're using sound and music to heal.
Fantastic.
So
beautiful. Yeah.
Maybe that's the journey for some people. Once they have that qualification, it's not really about the qualification, it's the inspiration that lights the fire for them to really go into what it's giving them permission to shine. I mean, I don't know, for you, Freya, you were kind of born into, the idea of being sick and then healed by, Oriental medicine or Asian medicine. And so that was, that idea of you were launched into it. For Michael, I know it was a case of not being drawn to the career and being more drawn to helping people. And then going, you trained in the Czech Institute, which is a highly respected in non-commercial circles.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever meet Paul Czech? Did you ever get the chance to meet him? Okay, so maybe one day, Paul, if you ever listen to this podcast, if we ever get to the level that you're at. But so what was it like? Why did you choose those things outside? I mean, you're quite entrepreneurial mindset. You chose things that nobody's really doing in Ireland properly. You must be one of the few people I know that has their own hyperbaric chamber. Yeah. That's mental. Why?
An obsession with that. Just always trying to learn. I suppose, I just remember getting my personal training cert and going this is terrible. And then I went to go find Paul Czech. I just heard him speak once, and I knew
he's the man.
He's the man. He's the best in the world.
Yeah, he's definitely the best in the world.
I'm going to go learn from him.
Yeah.
And that's what I tend to do, even in...
This is hilarious, because Paul, I used to work in Chorley Hospital. Now, not the time that you were there, but he went to the Czech Institute, and it's in bloody Chorley where they eat pies and peas and mashed potatoes. And oh my God, so there goes to show. There must be something there in Chorley. Eh?
Must be.
Yeah. There's an energy field in Chorley. That's brilliant. That's so funny. And the Czech system is so comprehensive.
Oh,
it's huge.
I will go back. I've only got to level 3. I do want to do more, but more around the holistic lifestyle.
Right.
So I've got the holistic lifestyle 2, but 3 just looks amazing.
Right.
That's but that's not for years. I need to
hone.
I need to master everything I've had at the minute. Learn from you a bit more.
And for me a bit more, yeah, Jesus. Definitely don't drive like me anyway. That's what I say. Yeah, I think for me, yeah, no one can, I don't know. My head is a maelstrom. So I've had some unique experiences with being taught, and those unique experiences shaped me. And I can honestly say that I still have the opportunity to commune with people who taught me who are not still here. So that gives me a little insight to where I'm kind of going. And as I said before, first 25 years of this health career has been up and down, money, no money, poor, sleeping on the floor, eating potatoes for a month. You know, we've all done this crazy stuff, stepping on slugs. We've all done that. So, and then flying along and having the lifestyle. And so experiencing it in all realms is important, especially if you're going to go on to teach or share successes and failures. But now it's about building community. So where do we begin? What's the beginning point for that?
What's the need?
What's the need? And I think today, the takeaway for me after this weekend is these people are coming to learn something, but they're actually healing while they're here.
For sure.
So if we never, ever get to treat people in the community, we end up healing other therapists or people who potentially want to be therapists and helping them. The process of changing and moving into that realm is a healing process. So there's multiple ways to do it.
And I think often, you know, we get into a physical health crisis because we are out of alignment with not living congruent with the call of our spirit. And I think that, in a sense, is what people are hungry for. They're hungry to feel actually congruent with their deeper self, with their spirit, with why they're here. You know, we only get one run through, and it's so short. And it's, you know, making every day count and every day special. You know, it breaks my heart when I hear people say they hate their job. And I think, wow, what must it feel like to have to get up each day and go and work hating what you do?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the
have you been there?
Huge things. Yeah, have that happiness in your life, like, and a goal, a desire, a dream to chase and go after. And the amount of clients and people who come into me that don't have a dream, that don't have something in their life that gives them joy every day. Like what's the shamanism? What did they ask? When did you last dance? When did you last sing? And when did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? There's one more. It'll come to me.
It'll come to you,
yeah. Laughing, maybe.
When did you stop laughing? And when did you stop?
I got to dance today.
You did?
I did a little groovy one.
Your Elvis move?
Yeah. Well, no, I did some bop into Qigong. I love Qigong.
When did you stop enjoy being with yourself? So there are 4 powerful questions.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's the heat. I was just going to say that's what people are looking for. They know that there's more to being human than just being a machine in the cog, a cog in the machine.
And people can't be alone with themselves. They always need this beside them.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that a little bit, to be honest with you. But it's more than just
no choice this weekend. No reception.
Yeah, you have been healed. Yeah. So I think, is there any passing things you want to give to the audience, as such as it is? I mean, I'm actually got quite a few downloads, thank you, on Spotify and Buzzsprout, which is not sponsored by this, but it's getting there. Passing comments or messages that you wanted to sound off with? Anything?
I just would really like to hear from people what they're hungry for, what they need.
As a therapist or as
a therapist, as a student, as a patient, whoever you are, whatever you're looking for, what do you what service do you need?
Well, an example you gave was a lady approached you for residential help.
Yeah.
So is it that we perhaps look at the possibility of having a residential centre? Yeah. Maybe we just simplify it and not try to do 100 things at once.
Yeah, she just emailed and said she's burned out. She's reached the end of the line. She needs some time out. She knows that she needs some intensive treatment and she wants to go somewhere where she can rest and recuperate. She can eat well. She can learn how to eat well. She can just be surrounded by nature, have treatment once or twice a day, and recalibrate in a really wholesome environment.
And imagine if you were a therapist and you get to live like 3 or 4 months of the year in the retreat center working, and you're a retreat yourself.
Yeah.
Because you only have to work a few hours a day. And the rest of the time is yours to learn and research and eat healthy. And
if there's Neigong or Qigong going on each day, so you're really deepening your own practice. You've got meditation starting, and because a lot of the time,
is anyone out there doing that?
We're all firefighting, but actually, I know for myself, I would love to get to the point where I'm, I can dedicate several hours in the morning without feeling time stressed to meditation, Neigong, Bagua, whatever I want to do, and the time stress isn't there. So there isn't that sense of I've got to get to clinic, I've got to get earned because I need money for X, Y, or Z, or whatever it's time stress that I experience. And I know it's down to me to change my lifestyle so that I create that spaciousness. But that's where I'd like to get to, is where I have a sense of spaciousness in my working life, that I'm able to earn in a reasonable amount of time what's needed, and that I've got the time and space to then dedicate to my practice, so that what I bring to the table as a practitioner is more potent.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Closing words.
Yeah. Dance a lot. Smile a
lot. Just, I suppose I'm at the beginning of my PCN practice. I'm practicing since September. I've been fortunate enough to have found you and getting, advice, help here and there.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
for sure.
Great.
There's a connection there, that you don't always get with people. They just ring and they want to know and hang up on you, and that's it.
And I think that's the thing. It's just that there is practitioners just starting, or practitioners who've been working a long time and they're only still part-time and would like to develop something bigger. It's just reach out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there like you, and it's not about having, being successful in your business. It's just about being successful in life and creating the life you want. And that's an important differentiation, is what actually we spoke about this the other day.
What's your definition of success?
And time's the new wealth.
And collaboration, I just think is the key.
If I didn't have to get in the car and go down to the supermarket to buy veg, that's why I'm gaining back time. But at the same time, you need time to grow veg. So there's this where do you sit with that?
Well, then it comes back to community again, because you've got Pete, who's growing the veg, and what he gets in return is a place to live, and he gets his food cut. He's got no expenses.
Yeah.
So this is a volunteer worker who's come here, but he's just completely taken over the tunnel. So that there is community.
Yeah.
He grows the veg. He's got somewhere to live and all his food and all his expenses covered. Doesn't have to put his hand in his pocket ever.
Yeah.
I don't have to go and do the work.
No.
And everyone eats abundantly.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? So who else is doing that out there? Yeah, reach out to us. It reminds me of a student I knew who built a house. He went and volunteered to build a house out of carb for a couple, and he did it. They fed him, watered him, housed him, no payment, but he learned how to build with carb, and that's a skill that he now carries with him for the rest of his life. Yeah. So what could you bring that in return you could receive Chinese medicine training? Maybe you have a skill that in building a retreat center, or maybe you have a skill in building solar panels, or maybe you can build carbon buildings. I don't know. Think about it. Let us know. So that's Cup of Chi. So we have Michael Kindregan in Kildare, Zing True Health, hyperbaric chamber expert, breath work experts, trained with some top people. And we also have Freya, of course, who is here in West Cork with the Sherwood Healing Arts Centre, and here, which I call it the Cottage Hospital. So thanks for listening. Have a great few days. Tune in again. Thanks very much. Bye for now.